The realized one, who is established within the fourth state, the reality or natural state, they witness all the other states, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, as pictures superimposed on it. And since that fourth state alone exists, and since it contains all projections of other states, rest assured that only it can be the beingness or true state. It is the reality, while all other states are but transient, fleeting projections. They cannot be held onto. One can only hold on to the beingness of the so-called fourth state. For the realized one, there is no true distinction between the above-mentioned projected states of mind. How can there be, when the mind itself is dissolved and lost within the light of consciousness? For them, all the passing states are equally unreal. But the ordinary person is not able to comprehend this, because for them, the standard by which to measure reality is the waking state. But for the realized one, the standard of reality is reality itself. This pure consciousness is eternal by its nature, and therefore it subsists equally throughout all passing states. To one who is one with that reality, there is no mind, nor its states. Thus, no introversion and no extroversion. They are the ever-waking state, because they are awake to the eternal self, to all the movements and change. They are the ever-dreaming state, because to them, the world is no better than any other dream or fleeting state. It is but phenomena. All is seen as this phenomenon, because they are without the body, consciousness, I state. For the realized one, there is bodily sensation, as well as the understanding that there is a body. The I am the body idea is common to both the realized and unrealized person, with this difference. The unrealized thinks that only the body is the self, while the realized one knows all things as the self. All is the body. All is God. If there is pain in the body, let it be. It is part of the self. The self is perfect. After transcending the I am the body idea, one becomes realized. In the absence of that I am the body idea, there cannot be the sense of doership or doer. So a realized one has no karma, because they are not acting, rather acting is happening. To what shall the karma cling? This is their experience. Otherwise, they are not realized. However, an ordinary person identifies the realized person with the body, which the realized one does not do. For this reason, one may say, I see the realized person doing things. So how can one say that one does not perform actions? The answer to this can be given in an example. The radio sings and speaks, but if you open it, there is no one inside. The realized one is like the space. Though the body speaks like a radio, there is no one inside as a doer. Many examples have been given in books pointing to how a realized one continues to live without the mind, although living and acting requires the use of the mind. The potter's wheel goes on turning, even after the potter has removed the pot, and the electric fan continues to turn even after its power source has been cut off. The predestined or accumulated karma, which created the body, will make it go through whatever activities it was destined for, but the realized one will go through these activities without the notion that they are the doer of them. It is difficult to understand how this is possible. The illustration usually given is that the realized one continues in such a way like a child who is awoken in the night to eat from its mother, but does not really recall that it has eaten. The realized one always is aware that nothing is being done by them, whether they are active or not, whether there is activity or not. They know that the one who may attempt to arise and say, "Look what I have done," is nothing other than a phenomenal thought arising from the heart place. Therefore, these explanations and examples are not for the realized, but rather they are only for the ignorant onlookers who identify and think with the body-mind and believe the realized one to be of the same nature. There are those who argue that a realized one cannot continue to live in a physical body, and when such a body dies, the body must vanish into air. They put forward many strange notions and ideas. But if this is the case, how can the knowledge of realization come down to other people? Who will point the way? And all those who have already pointed the way, are they not realized, since they continued to live in their bodies long after their own realization? This is all but mental noise, more self-imposed limitations. The fact is, any action can be performed by the realized person, and quite well at that, without them ever imagining that they are the doer. A power acts through their body and uses their form to get the work done. An ignorant person looks at the realized one and mistakenly identifies him with the body. This is because they themselves identify with their bodies and mistaken themselves to be nothing other. They project themselves onto the realized one. Since the person, though not the doer, imagines themselves to be the doer, they also think the realized one to be a doer that is acting when they see their body acting. But the realized one knows the truth and is not confused. Their state is not determined by the ignorant person, and therefore such issues do not arise in them. They only arise and trouble the ignorant ones. If they are a doer, they must then determine the nature of the actions. Can it be the self? No, it cannot. Find out who is the doer, and the self will be revealed. The realized one also sees no one as an unrealized one. All are only realized in their sight. Within the ignorant state, one mistakenly projects this ignorant state onto the realized one. But the realized one only sees self and nothing separate. The self is all shining and pure, pristine clarity. There is nothing unrealized within their perceptions. This is like the example of the two friends who fell asleep side by side. One dreamt that they both went on a long journey and had very strange experiences. When this one awoke from his dream, he retold the dream to his friend and then asked him, "Did you see that as well?" His friend simply laughed and said, "It was only your dream. How can it affect another?" It is like this with the unrealized person who projects his ideas on others. The realized one sees the difference between people and things as simple appearances. They do not see them as being separate from the real, of which they are one. Equality is the true sign of realization. This term implies the existence of differences, but it is a unity that the realized one perceives in all differences. This is equality. Equality is not an ignorance of differences, but rather, the realized one can see that these differences are really very superficial. They are not substantial or permanent. What is substantial in all these differences is the reality. This is unity. The ordinary person refers to the senses as being differences. This is also perceived by the realized one. However, the realized one sees these differences from the point of reality, as one may view the light entering and exiting from a prism. One does not perceive these differences as many separate individual lights. It is but one light, with perceived temporary differences. That is why a realized one has no real preferences. Whether moving about, or talking, or acting, it is all the one reality in which they move or talk or act. There is nothing apart from the one supreme truth. The realized one always acts with absolute equality towards all. Friend, foe, family, stranger, it makes no difference. It is all but one unity to them. They are the same in any state or condition, being that they are always standing in the reality. Their action is only for others, since there is no I arising within them saying, "I want, I need," and so on. It is like those who mourn the death of others for a small fee. You pay them when your loved one dies, and they will continue through the year reciting prayers or psalms in the name of the deceased. They remain unattached to the deceased, and therefore are never affected by their passing. The realized one cries with the crying, laughs with the laughing, plays with the playful, sings, dances, and keeps time to the music. What do they lose? Their presence is like a pure transparent mirror. It reflects the image exactly as it is. The realized one, who is only the mirror, remains unaffected by the actions. How can a mirror or its stand be affected by the reflection? On the other hand, the ignorant person must always decide for themselves what song to play, what to dance to, what action is for the benefit of the world, what is practicable. They will always feel responsible for all desired or undesired outcomes. This is bondage. Such things are only for the ignorant ones, and this bondage is only there for the purpose of liberation. But there is no real liberation because there is no real bondage. Find this out. It is like pouring water into water or oil into oil. There is no bondage and there is no liberation. No differences. Taking on a body as being self means taking on a veil which covers reality. Liberation is the removal of this veil. You assume that the realized one is walking on a path, comes to an obstacle, and avoids it. But who sees this? In whose eyesight does this happen? In the realized one or in yours? The realized one sees only the self, and all in the self. For instance, you see a reflection in a mirror. You know reality to be the mirror, and the reflection to be the illusion. But to see the mirror, does one need to stop seeing the reflection in it? The realized one's mind is known only to them. One must be realized to understand another realized one. However, the peace of mind which radiates from the realized one is the only way an ordinary person can come to understand the greatness of the realization. Their words, actions, or appearances are no indication of this greatness, because they are beyond the comprehension of the ordinary mind or common person. A very young child and a realized one are similar in the way that they both cease to think of the items or events after they have passed and are replaced with new items or events. They do not grasp at things, and therefore they are not affected by such things. They allow all to pass, for that is the nature of all things. Problems arise when one tries to hold that which cannot be held. This is unnatural. There is no one besides the self. Therefore, there is no realized one, and there is no unrealized one. Stop with all the mental questions of what it is like to be realized or not. Such mental questions only lead to more questions, and no questions are of use to you. Who is asking? Stop this one from asking and thinking. Accept the passing of things and see what lies beyond the mind. Liberation does not consist in knowing such things. They are but deterrents. Leave liberation alone. Is there bondage? See for yourself first and foremost. That is all.